All systems are go. Mike descends to the unidentified wreck.
I'm on the wreck. Is this the right spot to stand?
Once on the wreck, the diver has the constant worry of snagging the hose and line and the pester of pulling them behind. Always careful not to damage the fragile sections of a 100, sometimes 200-year-old wreck.
That's good. Okay, slacking a little bit. I'm going to go around the capstan here, which is going to be very, very stable. I'm going to stir things up a little bit, but it's going to be extremely safe place to snap in.
Mike will use a capstan for tying a line on the wreck.
Probably the single strongest structure on the entire ship. These vertical capstans were used to raise the square sails and the gaff rig sails. Okay, now, I don't know why, but the diver's light's just gone down.
Mike's light has dimmed. He keeps cool and waits.
Negative. Do you know what happened to my light? Awesome. Okay, now I'm working really hard not to stir things up.
With the light back, Mike can go forward. That was just the kind of situation where Mike's experience kept him from getting into trouble.
That would be the base. You can see the main mast this way. And then the stage. And then above the stage, the step of the top mast. See how you can see two masts there? Well, that's the step from the first mast to the second mast, or the top mast. So we'll go back to the ship now and try and make our way to the stern and the steering wheel.
Mike's description of the mast clearly indicates that this wreck is not the steamer Niagara. This wreck was a sailing ship, a Great Lakes schooner, bow heavy in the muddy bottom.
Yep, here we go. We're coming back onto the stern.
This ship was probably built sometime in the 1850s or 1860s.
There we go. Okay, just very good on my slack there. Now imagine you were a crew member working here on the deck, and right here on the back deck, there was this raised area from the main deck. You'd walk right through this companionway. There'd be a sliding hatch that would move across the deck, and you'd go right down inside the quarters of the ship. And then there you'd be, right inside the ship. And of course, down in here would be the quarters for cooking and living aboard the ship.
The mid-1800s was the heyday for sailing ships on the Great Lakes. The days when newspapers reported commercial activity on Lake Erie as news, and when a ship foundering in a storm made banner headlines. In November 1869, newspapers reported the tragic results of a severe storm that blew across the Great Lakes. Nearly 100 ships sank in that storm. 62 of them were sailing ships, schooners or barks. Perhaps this wreck was one of them.
And just ahead, the steering wheel.
The steering mechanism on a sailing ship is one good clue for dating a wreck. Its construction is another. So is the kind of rigging it used. But Mike won't have the chance to investigate for these clues.
Okay, the mud's starting to move in on me.
He's stirred up a storm of sediment. It will take all of his concentration to follow the umbilical cord and get himself out of the wreck.
Okay, up on my hose, I'm going to have to back out of here. And I'll try and get you shots as I go. Okay. But we've got other shots we can get down in here.
Using his umbilical cord, Mike blindly makes his way out of the wreck.
And out onto the main deck.
Makes his way to the stern.
I'm ready to leave bottom. You can see the base of one of the masts has snapped off. And ready to leave bottom. Up on the down line. Up on the nylon line.
Mike opts for the recompression chamber. He has about 10 minutes to get into the chamber and start decompression. The increased pressure from diving deep causes nitrogen from breathing air to dissolve in body tissue. The deeper the dive and the longer the stay, the more excess nitrogen the body absorbs. The excess nitrogen forms bubbles in blood vessels and body tissue. As the diver ascends, they expand, causing decompression sickness, or what's called the bends. A diver can dissolve the nitrogen bubbles by rising slowly and making timed decompression stops. Or he can decompress in a decompression chamber. The chamber takes a diver back down to the depth of the wreck. Then it slowly takes him up, stopping at predetermined pressure stages to decompress the nitrogen bubbles from his blood and tissue. The amount of time a diver spends in the chamber depends on the depth of the dive, the length of stay on the bottom, and a diver's individual profile. In the chamber, he breathes pure oxygen. For Mike, this is not a dangerous procedure. As a commercial diver, he's done it many times before. Within an hour, he'll be out of the chamber and ready to assist the Oceans of Mystery team as they free dive the third unidentified target, hoping that this one will be the wreck they've been searching for, the steamer Niagara.